Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 100 places you need to visit before you die, United States travel, world according to Briggs, and I've been reacting to him a lot recently. His videos are just easy to react to, especially that I'm having to react to loads in a short space of time. I've mentioned it before, but I've had to react to a good 90 to 100 videos in a space of like 11 days, which is pretty much like, it's 10 days actually, so I'd say like 9 videos a day on average, which is... I mean, I like reacting to videos. It's my hobby. I mean, I started doing this for a reason. But 90 videos in 10 days is hard. But we're getting around to it. And yeah, that's why I've been reacting to a lot of his videos, because I guess it's just easy to react to. But I am going to be splitting this into 2 videos, because a 40-minute video when I'm trying to react to loads of videos a day it's tough, man. So I'm going to split it, but I'm going to post the second part straight after, so you can just watch it one after the other. But 100 places you need to travel to before you die? Yeah, I mean, there's 100 places here, so I'm sure I'm not going to have known or seen a good 70% of these, maybe more. And yeah, that's the fun part of this, right? But yeah, we're going to jump into this and see what places he talks about. And yeah, let me know if you've been to any of these places, because I'd be interested in seeing your opinions on these places. But yeah, let's jump into this and check this video out.
Do you have a bucket list? I've had several in my life: a life experience bucket list, a career bucket list, and a travel bucket list. I focus on the travel one these days more than any of them. Actually, I threw one of them out. The one I made when I was 16, I got rid of it when I was like 20. I opened it up one day, started reading through it, and I'm all, why did I ever make this? 12 of the 15 items on here include the word cheerleaders. I thought it was a little creepy, so I threw that one out and never looked back. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to The World According to Briggs and our list of 100 things to do or see in the US before you die. That's right, we're doing a list of 100. It's a long list, it's over 30 minutes, and it's going to be a little faster paced than normal, or we'd be sitting here for like 2 hours. This list has 100 of the best things to see or visit in the United States. I've always been a little surprised that people don't realize what an amazing tourist destination the United States actually is. With this list, I hope to spark some interest in some of these places. We're coming out of the pandemic, and this summer might be a great time to go see some things. As you watch the video, count how many places you've actually been to or visited, and then in the comment section, let us know what your final count was. Have you seen 10 of them? Have you seen 4 of them? Have you seen 50 of them? Let us know, and maybe even include what one was your favorite. Okay, this is a long video, so let's get going with 100 places in the United States you should see before you die. Number 100, Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks in California. The Sequoia National Park is America's second oldest national park and was established on September 25th, 1890. Kings Canyon was established in 1940. The two parks are side by side east of Fresno. 99, the Grand Canyon. It's a majestic 277-mile long canyon with the Colorado River flowing right through the center of it.
I was going through them quick. I mean, there's 100, isn't it, to be fair? Look at this view, man. Oh, my days. Has there been any humans on this part of the Grand Canyon? I'm sure that's not possible, right? Maybe they have. Flipping hell, if that's the case.
98, Devil's Tower National Monument in Wyoming. This stands 1,267 feet tall, and it's located in the northwest corner of the Black Hills. It's actually declared a monument by Teddy Roosevelt.
Damn.
97. Pearl Harbor's National Memorial in Hawaii. Everybody knows we were attacked by the Japanese during World War II, and it was one of the worst attacks this nation has ever seen. You could still see oil oozing from the engine rooms of the sunken ships.
What? Wait, really? What the hell?
96. The San Diego Zoo. It is home to 3,700 animals and more than 650 species. I've been here like 4 times in my life. It's a great zoo.
I love going to zoos, man. They're so fascinating to me. Like, honestly, there's nothing like going to a zoo, right? And you see these animals that you see on TV, and then you just see them in person, and it's just something else, man. Like seeing a lion, seeing a tiger in person, or a giraffe, or whatever it is, it's just like, it makes you really think like, this could absolutely destroy me. Not a giraffe, but the size of them. It's just, whatever way it is, it's just crazy, like, to experience these things in person as opposed to seeing them on screens, you know.
95, the International Spy Museum, Washington, D.C. It is exactly what it's called, a spy museum. Very interesting.
What The hell?
94, Williamsburg, Virginia. It's colonial capital of Virginia and internationally known for its restoration activities and recreations of 18th century America.
That is awesome. Look at that. That is so cool. I love this sort of stuff because when you see what the world or what it possibly looked like before, obviously it's done up nicer. Maybe it would look a bit more rough in those times, but just to make it seem like you're going back 150 years or something, it's just, that'd be such a cool experience to go somewhere like this. I don't know how often countries may have these places or whatever. Like, is there a place like this in the UK? I mean, I'm sure, because there's areas where I live that have that style. Like, it's like you're in the Victorian times, but I like that they do the restoration thing.
93, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum in Cleveland. I will be there this summer. This place opened on September 2nd, 1995.
Damn.
92, Biscayne National Park, Florida. This is one of the least crowded sites managed by the National Park Service. It covers a total of 172,000 acres, and 95% of the park is underwater.
Oh, what the hell?
91, Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming. This is one of our best national parks. Been here 2 or 3 times in my life. One I kind of just drove through, but 2 times I actually visited. It's amazing. Go there, see the geysers, see the buffalo. Your life will never be the same.
Look how blue it is, man.
'90, the Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, California. This is a weird place. It's worth reading about, but it's better to go see.
What the hell is that?
89, the Wright Brothers National Memorial, North Carolina. This is a monument dedicated to the Wright brothers and their first flight. Everyone thinks it was at Kitty Hawk. It was actually down the road a bit at Kill Devil's Hill, not Kitty Hawk. This is the first federal park to have a permanent public structure. The monument was built in 1932. 88, the Plymouth Plantation, Massachusetts. This is where those first band of English people showed up. They would call themselves Pilgrims, and they showed up on the Mayflower, and they landed at Plymouth Rock. It's pretty neat. They have a little village set up like it supposedly was back when the Pilgrims were here.
What they... I guess these are recreations, but that's still quite cool.
I went there. I was young, but I remember going, this is a nice place to live. I wouldn't mind living here. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, wow, that's interesting as hell. Unless they've recreated it, which is still cool. I'm going to assume it's not from when they were there, because they would have taken that down years ago. But it's a cool little experience to look at that. I didn't even think that would be a thing.
87, Niagara Falls, New York. More than 8 million visitors explore Niagara Falls annually. A lot of people think this is just one big falls, and when you get there, you finally realize that it's actually 3 waterfalls. Niagara Falls just kind of refers to the whole area. There's Bridalveil Falls, Horseshoe Falls, and American Falls. 86, Thomas Edison's National Historical Park in New Jersey. The area includes dozens of buildings that supported Edison's research into electricity, photography, motion pictures, chemistry, and other things. 85, Boston Common. This is the oldest park in the U.S., existing since 1634. In the colonial days, it was actually a cow pasture and a British encampment for a while. But it didn't start becoming a park till 1830s when an iron fence was put up around it.
I love history.
84.
A lot of history for a park.
Mauna Kea, Hawaii. Mauna Kea is the best astronomical observation facility on Earth. The observatory is used for scientific research, and it's the largest facility of its kind. It's one of 6 volcanoes that form the Hawaiian Islands, and it's the tallest mountain on Earth. It's actually 3,600 feet taller than Mount Everest, but much of it's underwater. It's also about 1 million years old, and the last time it erupted was probably around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. It's considered dormant now. 83, Hollywood, California. Hollywood, California is an illusion. It has a reputation, it has an aura, and it has a mystique that's hard to find these days, but it's still there. You have the famous Hollywood sign, which kind of brings a lot of people in. You've got the Hollywood Walk of Fame, things like that. There's just a lot of nonsense that goes on around it, but if you actually study and learn where you want to go see things in Hollywood, famous mansions, things like that, it's very interesting, and it's really a good time. Just stay out of the tourist stuff. 82. Nashville, Tennessee. This is one of the cities you need to visit at least one time in your life. There's this vibe you get in Nashville that is very unique. Elvis Presley recorded more than 200 songs at RCA's Studio B. There's still a string of Christmas lights on display that were hung when Elvis couldn't get into the spirit to record a Christmas album.
What the hell? I'll tell you what I love. I love the signs, though, the colours in the signs. At night, this would look incredible. These sorts of streets would look absolutely incredible.
Apparently they were trying to record it in like August. And you know, no one's really got the Christmas feel in August, so I could see where the lights came in. 81. The Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island, New York Harbor. The Statue of Liberty was gifted to the U.S. by France in 1886, and it's 83 meters tall. The same man that built the Eiffel Tower built the structure. His name was Gustave Eiffel, and it is one of the most photographed statues on the planet.
Eiffel? And he was from France. What the hell? I've never heard the name Eiffel. Other than Eiffel Tower.
Number 80, the Brooklyn Bridge. Not too far away from the Statue of Liberty, you have the Brooklyn Bridge. This is iconic. It was officially opened on May 24th, 1883. The Brooklyn Bridge was the world's first steel wire suspension bridge, and the first things to cross it were roosters. They sent them across to make sure it was okay. I don't think roosters were the best plan. Maybe some cows or horses or something like that that are a little heavier, but they sent roosters. 79, staying in New York, the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York City. This opened on April 13th, 1870, and it's amazing. There's a lot of history in this building. The museum is the home to the world's oldest surviving piano, dating back to 1720. Even if
Can it still be used?
It's not your type of thing, definitely go by and see this.
The hell?
78, the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. If you've never seen this thing in person, I would suggest it. It is amazing. It was completed in 1937 and it's 1.7 miles long. Originally, it was supposed to be painted blue with yellow stripes to increase visibility for ships and things like that. But when the steel arrived, it was kind of this burnt red color from the primer, and the architects decided that color was fine and they just kind of stuck with it. In 1937, it cost 50 cents each way to cross the bridge, roughly the equivalent of about 18 bucks today. It took over 30 years to remove the lead-based paint from the bridge. Yeah, so back when they realized lead paint was really bad, they had to strip the bridge, and it took 30 frickin' years.
Wow. The hell?
77, Kennedy Space Center, Florida. This facility's primary function is the NASA's base of operation when it comes to rockets and launching things for pre and post launch. Most famously, it was the launching point for the Apollo moon missions and for the space shuttle most of the time. Its secondary function is for public education with its exhibits, displays, and history of spaceflight and travel.
Look at the size of that, like, jeez.
76, Everglades National Park, Florida. The Everglades...
This would be one national park that I would be absolutely shitting myself in. I mean, the idea of what's going to be under there, like, I know Florida's got crazy wildlife, right? But, mate, just what's lurking underneath them. Scary,
National
man.
Park is home to one of the largest wetlands in the world. It has plant and animal species
Isn't there pythons there as well? I mean, I don't, obviously not in the waters, but just in general in Florida.
not found anywhere else on the planet. It was established on December 6, 1947, and it is home to an exotic population of animals: alligators, manatees, hawksbill turtles, water moccasins, coral snakes, the list goes on. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the Everglades. 75. The Monterey Bay Aquarium, California. I love this place. One of my favorite aquariums. It opened on October 20th, 1984. The first time I was there was a year later, 1985.
Are they tunas? Are tuna fish the ones that swim together?
And it was amazing then, and it has done nothing but get better. They have a 1,000,000-gallon open sea exhibit that holds yellowfin tuna, large green sea turtles, barracuda sharks, and giant ocean sunfish. 74,
crazy.
Monument Valley, Arizona, and Utah. You go see this one, you got 2 states to choose from. This place is known for its cluster of vast sandstone buttes, the largest reaching 300 meters, about 1,000 feet above the valley floor. This valley's been in so many movies, TV shows, and in print, it's just ridiculous. Any Western from the 1950s seems to have found their way to this. It was neat. 73, Carlsbad Cavern National Park, New Mexico. It covers a total area of 46,000 acres, and there are 117 known caves in the park. The big room, as they call it in Carlsbad, is an 8.2-acre cave. There are 17 species of bats you could see here. 72, Canyon de Chelly National Monument, Arizona. For around 5,000 years, people have made their home in these sandstone canyons. They're often referred to as just one Canyon de Chelly, but there's actually several canyons here. Families do still live here. That's why access is limited and visitors are required to have a guided tour in most areas of this national.
Wait, is this the place that I saw mentioned? I mean, it was yesterday, but I don't know when it's posted compared to this. But I saw there was a place, it was the most, it was a town just furthest from everything pretty much. And I think it was in here. It was somewhere similar to this, but god damn, people still live here. That is wild.
The monument. It's very interesting. 71, Mount Rushmore National Monument, South Dakota. Mount Rushmore isn't the only thing to see in South Dakota, but it is by far the most popular. Mount Rushmore was named after New York attorney Charles E. Rushmore, who had visited the area in 1885. While on the visit, he asked a guide what the name of the peak was. The guide's all, well, we don't have a name for it. It's just an unnamed peak. So they named it Rushmore after him. He later donated $5,000 to help get the Mount Rushmore project started. 90% of the carvings were actually done by dynamite. It wasn't like a guy out there with a hammer and chisel. 70. Crater Lake National Park, Oregon. This one is amazing to see. It's one of those places, if you just sit there and look at it for a while, you'll just, I don't know, it's a weird feeling looking at this thing. If you know the backstory to it and how it was created, it's even more amazing. First of all, it's the deepest lake in America. It's actually 1,943 feet deep. The lake's water comes directly from snow or rain, whichever happens, which we get a lot here in Oregon. And there's no inlets for the lake. There's no like little creeks going to it or anything like that. This is a mountain that had its top blown off in a volcanic eruption. The story begins with the volcanic eruption. It was so serious that scientists estimate it was 42 times more powerful than the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980. But so it turned this giant mountain into pretty much a cup, and water and snow just accumulate in this cup, and we have a lake. It's pretty interesting.
That's quite cool.
Number 69, a Mississippi River cruise. The Mississippi River is long enough for you to take a cruise on. It's actually the third longest river in the world at 2,350 miles. The cruise industry has broken this off into 3 sections. Each section takes about a week to cruise, or you can knock them all out in one big 3-week trip, and it's worth it. 68, Mackinac Island, Michigan. Mackinac Island is a summer resort island in Lake Huron. It's right between the Upper Peninsula and Lower Peninsula of Michigan. This is a great place to visit in the summer. Winters can be sketchy at best. It gets pretty cold there. 67, the Corn Palace, South Dakota. Yeah, that's a real thing, the Corn Palace. I don't get the attraction. I mean, it holds big dances, proms,
Corn Palace? Is it made from corn or something? What?
Graduations, things like that, meetings, whatever, stage shows. It's just kind of strange, but a lot of people really like this place. They go to it. I've made fun of it before on my channel, and people always correct me and say what a neat place it is. I gotta visit, but a lot of people do. That's why it's on the list.
Fair enough.
66, Gettysburg National Military Park, Pennsylvania. Gettysburg is the most famous battle of the Civil War. Thousands of Union and Confederate soldiers clashed on some really hot July days in 1863. The park includes over 6,000 acres of land, 1,300 monuments, 400 cannons, and 140 historic buildings. Everyone knows about Gettysburg, and if you're a history buff, you already know this is one of the must-see places on your history bucket list. 65, Martin Luther King's National Historical Park, Atlanta. This is the hometown of the late Martin Luther King. The 10-block area around Auburn Avenue is one of the city's most visited sites, showing where he was born, lived, worked, and the church where his father, grandfather, and him were all ministers. 64, Black Heritage Trail, Boston. Usually whenever you hear anything about Black Heritage Trails or anti-slavery movements, it's something to do with the South, you know, the Underground Railroad, something like that. But Boston had an anti-slavery movement that was very important to this country. 63, Puuko Petroglyph Archaeological Preserve, Hawaii. This one's on the Big Island, and it's pretty impressive. They have over 3,000 ancient petroglyphs that are carved into the lava rock.
What?
The true meaning behind all these carvings is unknown, but generally it's believed that they were to announce the birth of someone important whenever they carved a new petroglyph in these lava rocks.
The hell?
62, Coney Island, New York City. Coney Island started off as a seaside resort in 1824. At some point,
A seaside in New York City? That is a weird... It's crazy to think because New York obviously is on the coast, but just going to the beach in New York, I just picture New York all the time. It's so cold, but I know it gets really hot there as well. I don't know. I think one of the last places I would consider going to the beach to is when I'm in New York. But I mean, if it's hot, you're gonna go, which is, I guess, an advantage to living in somewhere like New York. When you can go to the beach.
Started turning into an amusement park, but not just one amusement park. There's people that own different parts of it, and it's just this big thing. Anyway, it's home to the famous Cyclone roller coaster, and it's been in too many movies to count.
I've never seen it.
61. The Franklin Institute, Philadelphia. The Franklin Institute in Philadelphia pays homage to the city's native son, Benjamin Franklin, one of the greatest Americans of all time. It was first opened in 1824. 60. The Alamo, San Antonio. Everybody knows, but in case you don't, the Alamo was the site of the battle that took place during Texas' bid for independence from Mexico. All defenders were killed, but within 6 weeks, Santa Anna, president of Mexico, was captured, and he basically signed over Texas to save his own life. The original Alamo was actually burned to the ground in April of 1836, but was rebuilt in 1854.
Jeez.
Number 59. Victoria Clipper Ship, Seattle. You can ride this high-speed catamaran from Seattle to Victoria, British Columbia in 3 hours. It's obviously because the pandemic been docked for a couple months now, but it's a pretty fun trip. Actually, any ferry...
I was thinking that was the UK flag. I was confused for a second, but I guess probably just the style
you get in the Seattle...
It's got Victoria, though. Maybe it is. Is that actually the British flag on it? I think it might be.
Puget Sound area is a good trip.
Fuck knows.
58. The National Air and Space Museum, Washington, D.C. This is the world's largest aviation and space museum. It is also the most visited museum in the country, with more than 8 million visitors every single year. It was opened on July 1st, 1976. You could see the Enola Gay bomber who dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, also Charles Lindbergh's Spirit of St. Louis, and the Wright brothers flyer.
I do love a space museum, man. They are the most fascinating museums you can go to. Like, must have been younger. I went to a few museums, and I'm pretty sure we went to the Space Museum before. There's a Natural History Museum, there's a Science Museum. I think maybe in London, the space stuff's in the Science Museum. Whether it is or not, I do love the Space Museum. It's just fascinating to see things that have been involved in getting into space or have been in space or whatever it is.
57. Daytona Beach, Florida. Daytona Beach runs for 23 miles on the Florida coast. It is known as the World Center for Racing, and it's also known as the world's most famous beach since the 1920s.
Really?
They used to actually race NASCAR on the beach.
That is such a weird picture. What the hell? Look at this. It's like a massive lake, but that is wild. You got this long ass beach. This is such a crazy place to look at. What?
Way back in the day, but they still did it. Cars are still allowed on the beach, but it's pretty slow. You got to go like walking speed almost. 56.
Damn.
Alaska Marine Highway. This is basically a ferry system that currently extends across like 3,500 miles of scenic coastline, and it connects 30 different communities. It started 1948 through 1962. They kept adding things onto it.
Pretty cool.
55. Dinosaur Valley, Texas. This opened up in 1972. In 1909, George Adams, a young man, found strange three-toed tracks in the limestone bed of a river. Turns out these were dinosaur tracks left in the mud. Well, the mud turned to rock, and now you got these really cool footprints all over the place. It's actually quite impressive.
Jesus.
54. Lincoln Heritage Trail, Kentucky. Abraham...
I love how diverse these are. You'll get one thing to do with like flipping space, and another to do just going to the beach or corn museums or whatever. Then you got it's just so diverse.
Lincoln lived in Kentucky for the first 7 years of his life, and this has kind of stuck with the state for some time now. On display is a replica of the tiny cabin where he was born, among other things. 53. The Kentucky Derby. Everybody knows what the Kentucky Derby is, and it's quite a party.
Where is horse racing bigger? In the US or the UK? Because they love it in the UK. I'm not really into it, but where is horse racing biggest? Kentucky Derby is the number one. The biggest one is in Dubai. What? Where is horse racing most popular? Horse racing is a prominent and prestigious sport that is receptive to every audience type. The United Kingdom, United States, the UAE, Australia, France. Damn. But yeah, the Kentucky Derby, number one. It's just interesting how horse racing is just one of those things. I guess because back in the day, this was like the number one sport, right? It's what everyone used to bet on. This is what people's years would build up to, or their weekends would be spent doing this. And to be fair, a lot of people still do that in the UK.
The race is nice too, but most people go for the party. The
Yeah.
fastest winner was Secretariat in 1973. 52, the Fort Worth Stockyards, Texas. Everybody
hell
knows
is
where
going
Fort
on?
Worth is. It's just west of Dallas. It's part of the Dallas metro area. Fort Worth became a boomtown in the 1890s because it had the Southwest's biggest livestock market. Because of this, it also got the nickname Cowtown. 51, White Mountain National Forest, New Hampshire, and it's also in Maine. This is
I love this one, man. I just love the colours of it. I don't know how it would look standing up, like walking around, and it would be incredible. But I think this view of it, you just get to see everything, and it's just crazy.
one of the most beautiful forests this country has to offer. I mean, Maine and New Hampshire, they just got beautiful landscapes. This area was heavily logged back in the 1800s, and they've made a recovery since then. It was established in 1914 when they acquired 7,000 acres for $13. Today, it has an area of almost 800,000 acres in New Hampshire and western Maine. 50, Ashteek Island, Maryland.
What the hell is this? Is this just a beach in Maryland as well? So yeah, I'm noticing I can't remember what this is called, but it's like the river system on the coast of the US. For a lot of the eastern coast in the US, you have like this river system, which was shown in the previous one a few points back. But it's like a river system, an inner one. Then you got this beach one as well around it. But what even is it? Is it just a beach or what? It's so weird how this happened. Crazy.
This island is best known for its herd of wild horses, its pristine beaches, and it's got a really cool lighthouse. It's 37-mile-long barrier island located on the eastern coast of the Delmarva Peninsula facing the Atlantic Ocean. The island was originally going to be made into a private resort in the 1960s, but it all came to a screeching halt when the locals were a little angry about this. The people kind of shot this idea down.
Fair enough. And that's that for this episode, this part. I'm now going to react to this part as well, but I'm just going to split this off because I've got to get as many videos out as possible. But yeah, if you watch this, I don't know, a few days after it was posted, you can literally just find this part 2 reaction right after on my channel. But yeah, these top 50 already. I don't know if it's in order, and then the next 50 will be even crazier. But yeah, I just love the diversity of all these things that you can do and all this stuff. But yeah, I'll see you for part 2, and yeah, until next time. Peace.